Morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone here to Spiritualist Desert Church to our virtual Zoom service on this wonderful Father's Day. Nice deep breath in. So I'd like to welcome everyone that's joining us here on Zoom today, along with everyone who's going to be joining us, viewing us on YouTube later on. As always, I want to welcome Spirit, who's with us now and always. I'd like to remind you that if you're here on Zoom with us, we will mute your microphones. And if you would like a Zoom invitation, if you're viewing us on YouTube, you may request one and we will send you an invitation to our virtual service. Today, joining us, we will have Paula Molino, who's a licentiate minister with the NSAC. We will have Louise, who will be leading us in our healing meditation. Paula will also be doing spirit greetings for us. I am your host, Alice Robertson, I sit on the board, and I just became vice president of our board of directors. And I sit on the pastoral committee also. And let us get started with our service and our invo. If you will now join me in our prayer, our invocation. Infinite intelligence, we welcome you to our service today. We thank you for joining us in our life on this earth plane and being with us for every step we take. We thank you for the knowledge you bring to us, along with all of the great experiences we have on this earth plane. Help us to grow and thrive today and all days. Let us look for the good in all things, and let us know that you are with us now and always. Amen. Spiritualist Desert Church is a chartered member of the National Spiritualist Organization of Churches, which is located in Lilydale, New York. The NSAC manual provides us with the definitions of spiritualism and being a spiritualist. Let me share those with you now. Spiritualism is the science, philosophy, and religion of continuous life, based upon the demonstrated fact of communication by means of mediumship with those who live in the spirit world. Spiritualism is a science because it investigates, analyzes, and classifies facts and manifestations demonstrated from the spirit side of life. Spiritualism is a philosophy because it studies the laws of nature, both on the seen and unseen sides of life, and bases its conclusions upon present observed facts. It accepts statements of observed facts of past ages and conclusions drawn therefrom, when sustained by reason and by results of observed facts of the present day. Spiritualism is a religion because it strives to understand and to comply with the physical, mental, and spiritual laws of nature, which are the laws of God. A spiritualist is one who believes, as a basis of his or her religion, in communication between this and the spirit world by means of mediumship, and who endeavor to mold his or her character and conduct in accordance with the highest teachings derived from such communication. As spiritualists, we have no dogmas or creeds, but we do have 9 principles that we strive to live by. Please join me in declaring these principles. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul, here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes proven through mediumship. So our speaker today is Paula Molino. She is a licentiate minister with our national organization and our church. She's also a very long-standing member of our church. And so we would like to welcome Paula Molino.
Thank you, Alice. Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to our service today. So cute. I have it on gallery view and people are waving at me. Hi, everyone. Again, I want to welcome everyone that's here in the physical as well as everyone that's here in spirit. And I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. Today is Father's Day here in the United States. To be honest with you, I don't know if it's Father's Day everywhere, but we're in the United States, so happy Father's Day. Woohoo! We often think of a very traditional view when we think about fathers. But today, as we move through our service, I want you to keep in the back of your mind different definitions of what a father could be and could mean to us. I also want to talk, today is June 21st, right around the time of summer solstice. And actually the day was yesterday for our summer solstice, and it was the longest day of the year. It's always one of my favorite days because the sun is out as long as possible that we can get it that year. And it started making me think about 2020, and hasn't 2020 felt like the longest year ever? And as we are talking about the longest year ever, how many of you have already written 2020 off? We're only halfway through and you're like, forget this mess. I am not interested in going forth. Can we just get to the end of the year now? Right? We're thinking like 2020, I'm over it. Let's just move on. But in reality, what I want to talk to you today overall is about a clean slate. Imagine if 2020 can have a clean slate today. What does a clean slate actually mean? Is it something that we can actually have? And why should we want to have a clean slate in our life? What will that get for us? And if all of those things are possible, then how do we as spiritualists work on a clean slate? So let's imagine if you were in my high school class, I would tell you to dig through your treasure chest and move everything off your little treasure box where you keep all the great things. You have your wonderful imaginary goggles in there. And I would make all of my seniors, believe it or not, they do it, 18, 17, 18-year-old kids, I make them like rifle through their little box, find your goggles, push the gold aside, push your diary aside. You're not looking hard enough. Come on, everybody find them. And we're going to open up our box, open it up. And then we put on our imaginary goggles. And through these imaginary lenses, just think what we can see. So 2020 is only halfway done, which means if we're being positive, we have 6 more months that can turn this around. We have 6 more months of absolute joy ahead of us. But that joy is not going to come to us if we're holding on to all the, I have no better word for it, crap that has happened before, for the entire mess that has gone on up until this point. So a clean slate, what does that mean? And is it possible? Most of us think of a clean slate as absolute clean surface where we have done nothing yet, that there's no baggage, there's no preconceptions, there's nothing on that slate at all. And we can move forward from there. So is that possible? I don't think so. I think that what we need to do, instead of wishing for a clean slate, is that we change our definition of what a clean slate is. So instead, because I can't forget all of the history moving up to this point in my life, I can't forget everything that I've learned. And what happens when we learn things, our brain actually works together to form ideas when we learn new things. We have new experiences, and those experiences are clumped together so we can understand them. That's how our brain learns. So when we're first introduced to colors and we see a new color we've never seen before, we're trying to figure out what that color is. And we're like, oh, it kind of looks like a red. It kind of looks like a purple. It's something in between. And our brain tries to lump it in with something so we can try to understand that thing. So that's how we learn and how we grow. Now, with our experiences, we take those experiences and we lump them together, and we have preconceived notions about them based on that thing that we've lumped together with something else. For instance, when I was younger, we did a lot of road tripping. And I 100% imagined road tripping with people other than my family would be horrific, because it was not my favorite thing when I was a kid. I would be irritated by my siblings. You know how siblings are, the things that you hear, you're on the road forever, it's long, it's ridiculous, and I just did not have a great time. And we spent much of our time in the car when I was a kid. So my adult me, when I had to take a road trip this past summer, a year ago, I was like, okay, what things can we have in place? Let's get audiobooks. Let's do these things. So I do not want to 100%. I'd like Jen to come back with me and me not murder her on this trip. I'm just saying, it was very hard for me to imagine that I could take this trip and enjoy every moment of that road trip with her. And yet I did. But that was based on my preconceived notion of what road trips were. I only had that experience with my family and how horrific it was, and viewing that from the eyes of a 6 to 15-year-old, right? But I needed a clean slate for road trips. I needed to form a new association with road trips in order to be able to do that. And that's what we're talking about today. So clean slates may not necessarily be something we can completely have, because we want to have that knowledge as well. We need to learn from where we are. Spiritualism is a philosophy. And why is it a philosophy? Well, I have a little note card right here to tell us. Alice read it to us at the beginning, and I know it from heart unless you ask me on spot to read it to you. But I'm going to tell you that spiritualism is a philosophy because it studies the laws of nature, both on the seen and unseen sides of life, and bases its conclusions upon present observed facts. So it bases its conclusions on present observed facts. We're talking about the clean slate. That alone is a philosophy question. Is it possible? But as we're looking at our definition of spiritualism as a philosophy, we want to look on the seen and unseen sides of life, and we want to observe facts. And I want to ask you, when you're dealing with other people and you're going forth in your relationships, you're going forth in something you're trying to discover, any of these things, are you dealing with facts, or are you dealing with your perception of those facts? Are you seeing them clearly through an unfiltered eye, or are you seeing them through your own rose-colored glasses, through your own perception? Now, if there were a fight in the room right now, and there's 15 of us, we would get 15 different accounts of that fight. And that comes from our own experiences. We put them on there. We color things with our own experiences. In our church, we believe in mediumship. We believe bringing people through from the other side. And sometimes we color that message. We put our own spin on that message. We try to interpret that message when that message isn't for us. Same thing when somebody is with us with a clean slate. Imagine, put those goggles on, those imaginary goggles we dug out of our trunk, and imagine everything that you encounter with a clean view, with a clean slate, with a perception that isn't colored by something else. It isn't already lumped in with pain or disgust. It isn't already lumped in with expectations. But imagine every piece through our day, every moment is a new moment. And we're learning it for the first time. Now, I'm not asking you to give up your history, and I'm not asking you to not think about these things, but I want you to think about them as an observer and not a participant. I want you to go into each new situation as if it is new. And how different would our world look if that were the case? How different would that conversation that you had 3 days ago have gone if you were open to hearing it for the first time, if you were open to the positive sides of things? We get to choose how we view everything. That's up to us. And I know we've spoken before about accepting change, and we've spoken before about living in this moment. And all of those things come together when we talk about possibly having this clean slate. So let's change our definition of a clean slate and make it a fresh slate. Our 8th principle talks about there is the door to reformation is never closed to anyone here or hereafter. That is the 8th principle. Our Lyceum, or the simple definition of that, is tomorrow is a new day. So let's put on those imaginary goggles again and see the world through a fresh slate. Let's see each other through a fresh slate. That person that you know is going to come in and give you trouble when they're going to open their mouth, and it's not going to be positive. Imagine a silver column moving through them. Imagine the best possible words that are going to come out of their mouth. Now, a clean slate, if we're talking about it, or again, our fresh slate, we believe in personal responsibility as well. That's our 7th principle. That means that even though tomorrow's a new day, I can't just sweep what I did yesterday under the rug. I have to take responsibility for that thing. I have to make amends or own up to it or change it the best that I can still. So I have to keep that in mind. But how do I do that and have a fresh slate? Is that easy? No. Of course it's not easy. But as spiritualists, I know that we believe, again, to the sixth principle, we believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Because that's the case, I do unto others as I would have them do unto me. So when that person comes into the room that I'm expecting to be negative, that I'm expecting to put things on me that I don't want, instead of doing that, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to look at that situation. I'm going to perceive them in a new light, in a new beginning, because everyone is capable of change. Everyone who's sitting here listening right now, we've all changed. And I bet there's somebody who wasn't right on board with that change in you. It took them a while to recognize that change. And that doesn't mean that we threw that change away, that we're like, oh, nobody don't like that part of me, so I'm not doing it anymore. What it means is we change and we hope others come along with us. I can't change anyone else. As spiritualists, it's not my job to change anyone. It's not my job to judge anyone. It's my job to live my best life, to know myself, to know God, and recognize that spark of infinite intelligence within myself and within others, and to model my behavior. And by modeling my behavior, then I can hope that others see that and want to change as well. But there's not one person on this planet you can personally change. They have to want to do that themselves. So as spiritualists, we take those things. We take our principles. We take the idea of the golden rule. We take the idea the idea of personal responsibility. We take the idea of our eighth principle that the doorway to reformation is never closed and tomorrow is a new day. And we put all of those things together and create a fresh slate. That fresh slate will help us gain everything that we need, because remember, our thoughts become our deeds and our actions. And those things, what we put our mind to, those thoughts, our desires, the vibration of those work its way into our reality. All of us have seen it happen. I see it happen every single day, and we can do this. So that is why it's important to have a fresh slate, to have a fresh start every single day, to move into this world and imagine that it can be wonderful. If we were going to sing and it was a regular service, I would have started the service with the song Imagine. And I'm only going to read the last line of each stanza to you, and I want you to think about just these lines. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine all the people living life in peace. And the world will be as one. Imagine all the people sharing all the world, and the world will be as one. I can't change anyone else. I can only change myself. And as I'm changing myself, I'm hoping that that change radiates out to everyone else, that my vibration draws to me that of similar vibrations, as we know that it does. Like attracts like. Draw to you the things that you want. When you're confronted every day, whether it's a confrontation or of joy or any of those things, look at it with a fresh eye. Imagine it for the first time and create new learning patterns in your brain of how to associate those things together. If you associate love and pain together, it's up to you to change that. It does not have to mean pain when you love someone and put yourself out there. If you think of your childhood as painful, you don't have to rewrite your childhood, but you can see that through your adult eyes. You can see it through a fresh slate. You can take your relationships and make every single one of them better. Living in this moment, giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, and living your best life. So today, I challenge you guys to look at each situation that you enter with a new set of eyes, with a fresh slate, and imagine the world as one. God bless.
Thank you, Paula, for that very inspirational, beautiful, and thought-provoking sermon. That was really lovely. Traditionally, now is the time for our love offering. We accept checks in the mail at this time, and we are still working on electronic means for our donations. So our address and church info is on our screen. And we really thank you for your support of Spiritualist Desert Church. I know it's a hard time for everyone. It's a hard time to pay our bills at church also, but that's kind of how it is right now. It's awesome. As you're aware, Spiritualist Desert Church is closed now and for the foreseeable future. However, our board of directors and the pastoral committee are here for you. If you have need of food from our food pantry, or if you would like to talk to us about anything going on in your lives, if you have questions, you can reach us at the listed sites. If you're a member of Spiritualist Desert Church, remember that it's time to pay your yearly dues. They were due at the beginning of the month. And if you could get those into us as soon as possible, that would be great. If you have trouble with that, please contact us. We have means to help you. You may watch this service on our YouTube channel. If you just search Spiritualist Desert Church on YouTube, we try to have it up later on Sunday, but most likely later in the week. And let's see, what else here? So we have our food bank still available. Give us a call, let us know. Also, if you're a member of our church and would like to serve our church at convention, please let us know. Convention is coming up and we are starting to put together the group of people who will be going to convention and who will be representing Spiritualist Desert Church. Also, I would like to announce with such great pleasure that Christiane Ahrens is our newest member of our church. She's a returning member and was approved yesterday for membership into our church. And it's wonderful to have her back with us. As we begin the healing portion of our service, we invite you to join us in our healing meditation led by Louise Barkdale. She is the co-chair of our pastoral committee and is the secretary of our church board and works with teaching and healing on an ongoing basis. By definition, a spiritualist healer is one who, either through one's own inherent powers or through mediumship, is able to impart vital curative force to pathologic conditions. Please join me in our prayer for spiritualist healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. Amen. And now, Louise Barkdale with our healing meditation.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone, of course, that is here with us via Zoom, and all those in spirit that come to visit us as well. For the next few minutes, we're just going to focus on a healing meditation. There's nothing else that we need to do at this moment in time. We are able to put all of our intent and all of our focus here in these few minutes. So find a comfortable position. Start to relax yourself. If possible, have your feet firmly planted on the floor. And as we go through this meditation, if there are other thoughts coming into your head, just acknowledge them and put them aside. We can deal with those just a little bit later. Start with a cleansing breath. Breathe in deeply as you can, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you exhale, exhale as much of that air as possible. And then a second cleansing breath. Same thing. Feel that air coming in, filling you all the way up, filling your lungs, filling your diaphragm, and then letting it go. And then one more cleansing breath, all the way in, and releasing as much as possible. These physical cleansing breaths just help us to get our mind in the right state to go on this wonderful journey. And from your toes and moving upward over your body, just start relaxing. Relaxing your toes, your ankles, your calves, up over your knees, up your thighs, and over your hips. And continue relaxing your lower back, your belly, your chest, and your upper back. Your shoulders, down your arms, to the tips of your fingers. And then back up to your shoulders one more time. Up your neck and up to the crown of your head. As we relax our bodies, we are able to focus more on our consciousness. And we're going to raise our consciousness away from the physical, this physical everyday life that we work with in our physical life. We're just going to rise above that consciously for a little bit, getting away from the gravity holding us to this earth and allowing our consciousness to rise, to raise our vibration and to move our consciousness closer to that unlimited amount of healing energy that is available to all of us. So allow your consciousness to rise and move toward that healing energy. Focus on a couple of your breaths, if that's what's needed. Before you know it, that will help you get to that healing energy. As we approach that wonderful, vast amount of healing energy, I like to envision an endless lake. It goes on and on. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. It too allows my mind to be free, away from all these everyday things, and look out at the vastness of that lake. And as I breathe in, I wonder at the beauty of it, and I feel the healing of it. And the healing, of course, we know is for our physical, it is for our mental, it is for our emotional, and it is for our spiritual well-being. As we're here today, we know that because of the divine spark within all of us, we are able to reach out and connect with each other. In honor of today, for Father's Day, reach out to your father or your father figure, the one who helped you through your life, the one who is now in spirit, but is still always with us. Feel that extra little warmth, that extra little comfort from this person who was so inspirational in your life. We can be with them whenever we like. All we have to do is reach out. So acknowledging them now. Once again, feeling their comfort and their support with us. Enjoying that moment. And now it's time to begin our return. So again, take a couple of deep breaths. Knowing that it's time to lower our vibration, taking that journey back to where we will reconnect with our physical body. The trip back always seems to be a little bit quicker. Getting back totally in connection with our body, realigning our consciousness. And again, Focus on our breathing. Totally settling in with our physicality. Open your eyes when you can. Feeling how that healing energy has refreshed us, has renewed us, has reinvigorated us. And once again, being fully ready to face our week, and ready, willing, and able, freshly renewed to do so. God bless.
Thank you, Louise, for that lovely healing and relaxing meditation. That was so beautiful. We continue to maintain our healing list, and we send absent healing to everyone on our list every day. We have a group of people who send healing out. You may add yourself or others to our healing list by sending a request to our email, or snail mail if you would rather do snail mail. We now move into the message portion of our service. Our message medium today will be Paula Molino. By definition, a medium is one whose organism is sensitive to vibrations from the spirit world, and through whose instrumentality, intelligences in that world are able to convey messages and produce the phenomena of spiritualism. A medium proves the continuity of life. Please understand that all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. A psychic reads your energy or your aura. A medium brings through someone who has lived on the earth plane. It's also important to know that a medium is not a medical doctor and therefore cannot diagnose nor prescribe. When our message medium comes to you, the Zoom host will unmute your microphone so you may accept the spirit greeting or not, and so you may reply to our message mediums. You will then be muted after your spirit greeting. Please also note that if you're viewing this on YouTube, Spiritualist Desert Church does not record spirit greetings, and so therefore they will not be in our YouTube recording. As we bring our service to a close, we'd like to remind you that we do have a virtual fellowship after service that you may join us at. I'd also like to say thank you, fathers of whatever gender you are, because we all have fathers around us, and we are also very grateful for the fathers and their part in our lives. Happy Father's Day to you all. Thanks for joining us here. Once again, we'll be here next Sunday. And if now you will join us in our benediction, our closing prayer with Paula Molino.
Oh, it was such a blessing for us all to be here today. Let's take a deep breath in. Feel infinite spirit reside within you. Each time you think about infinite spirit, let it radiate through your heart and give you confidence to face the world each day with a fresh slate. approach every day with new imaginary goggles on that allow us to see the good in everyone, to have a pleasant, wonderful, joyous day, and to work through our principles each and every day with love and joy in our heart. God bless. Amen.
Thank you again, Paula, and thank you again for attending our service.